Warning, due to the highly intensely polarizing nature of this presentation, viewer discretion is advised. You must watch this video right now or miss out on the greatest sexual revolution since the 1960s. Hi, I'm Lanoff, and by the end of this video, you'll join thousands of other men and women who call me the Jedi of open relationships. And right now, right here, I'm going to let you in on scorching secrets about sexual lust that conservative organizations around the world are terrified you'll find out. Because if you do, they will lose their ability to manipulate you. A secret that will immediately open an all-night cafe filled with freedom, lust, and sweaty, amazing intensity you thought only happened in works of fiction, and will give you the power to communicate your deepest desires, and without any fear, without any drama, without any shame, and without risking hurting someone you love. Oh, and just so you don't make any excuses, the secret I'm revealing in about 15 seconds will give you access to all the people interested in open relationships you'll ever need, even if you're confused, broke, afraid, or feel like you are getting too old to figure this out. So, you just want to settle? If you just listen to what I have to say, like a growing army of people already have, you'll be swimming in like-minded people who are just as curious as you are about how to have open, healthy relationships. Why? Because the conservative nightmare has finally come true. And it's amazing news for anybody interested in having sustainable open relationships. Who the hell am I to make such huge promises and crazy claims? And why is the conservative nightmare going to lead you to a relationship mecca? Like I said, my name is Lanoff. From Neil Strauss's new bestseller, The Truth, an uncomfortable book about relationships. I'm in his book because I'm the Jedi of open relationships. And soon, you too will see why I'm considered one of the country's foremost experts on successful open relationships. And in order to tell you how you're going to open the door to the open lifestyle, I have to tell you about the most humiliating moment of my entire life. Warning, if you've ever been afraid of being rejected by a partner, what I'm about to tell you may trigger feelings of embarrassment and rage in you. But whatever you do, it's important to keep watching. I wasn't always the open relationship Jedi. In fact, at one point I was clueless. I remember the day I discovered the real truth about monogamous relationships. It was a beautiful fall day in New York City. I was on my way to surprise my girlfriend for our anniversary. I had a spring in my step because she was hands down the sexiest woman I had ever been in relationship with. She was all about monogamy and white picket fences. And I knew if I wanted to keep her around, I had to pledge to her my faithfulness. She'd been cheated on before, so she was still hurt, protective, and not wanting to open up her trust. My heart was devastated, she said, so I need to trust you. And wanting to be a good guy, of course, I said, yeah, sure, of course you can trust me. And even though I had opportunities to explore with other women, I didn't. I remained faithful. Even though our relationship had some problems, I was sure that if I just showed her that I was a good guy, everything would be just fine. I mean, after all, that is what mommy and daddy told me. And just as I rounded the corner, I came up her block with a beautiful bouquet of flowers in my hand. I saw a couple walking down the street, arm in arm, laughing. It looked so beautiful. And in the distance, I thought, man, that is a happy couple. When they were about 20 feet from me, I realized that this great couple was in fact my girlfriend and her new lover, my best friend. She looked at me and she said, hey. And we all stood there for a minute, awkwardly. And then she said, nice flowers. I said, they're for you, for our anniversary. I felt so low, it was like I was stuck to the underside of a snail, slowly slithering across the pavement with my red, humiliated face scraping first. I thought I couldn't go any lower, but that's when she said, "Aw, thank you for the flowers." She pulled them out of my hand like she was pulling a sucker from a sucker. And then she said, "Thanks, they're beautiful." She and my best friend turned and walked away. Bye, she said over her shoulder. I couldn't breathe for almost 20 minutes as I sat on a stoop just talking to myself, mumbling it over. I felt like I had hours to think, to feel ashamed, to make a decision that would change everything. There I was, a guy who taught other guys how to make love to women in a way where she came back for more and more and more. And in 3 seconds, my best friend and my girlfriend made me feel like a complete idiot. I snapped out of it when the cops came by and asked me what was going on. That they had a complaint about a homeless guy on a stoop talking to himself about some girl. "What are you doing here?" they asked. "I'm waiting for my girlfriend. It's our 1-year anniversary, and I just saw her arm in arm with my best friend." And that's when I heard the cop say to his partner underneath his breath, "Either this guy's crazy or he is a chump. As far as I'm concerned, a chump gets what he deserves." And he turned back to me and he said, "Get the F out of here. It's private property and you are trespassing, chump." That was the lowest point in my adult life. Or so I thought. My best friend called me up and he was like, "Yo, bro, we need to talk." So we were out at a bar, and after a bunch of stupid small talk, at one point he turned to me and he said, "Yo, I have a confession to make." And that's when my worst fear came true. He said to me, "Bro, you know I've been sleeping with her for almost as long as you have. She said she didn't want to be tied down by you, and you were trying to tie her down. She wants to be free. She said she wants 2 boyfriends, and you didn't understand. But I'm cool with that." For 5 agonizing minutes, I listened to him yammer on. Then he looked at me and said, "Hey bro, you okay?" I took a deep breath. I said defiantly, "Yeah, I'm fine." But I wasn't fine. My head was spinning. I was devastated. But why? My best buddy was fine with the arrangement, but I was defeated. I mean, she went around me for almost a year without me knowing. What did he know that I didn't? Or, more importantly, what didn't he believe about relationships that I did? Laying in bed that night, I spent hours not sleeping, twisting and turning, feeling pure panic in my chest when I thought about what happened. And I knew I was at a crossroads when it came to me and relationships. I knew when I got out of bed in the morning, I could do one of 3 things that would change my life forever. Number 1, I could blame her. I could call her a cheating heart. I could become one of those guys fueled by the rage of sexual rejection and become an asshole for the rest of my life and be like, "Yo, I'm not going to open up. I'm not going to open my heart because I'm all wounded." I could be that guy. Or I could blame myself. And I could learn to hate myself for choosing terrible partners and, like all that other bullshit out there that says, "Oh, well, you're just attracting these kinds of lying and cheating partners to you." I could do that. But that was definitely a no. Or 3, I could make the choice I did. The choice to learn the truth about humans and sex. Why they say one thing and do another. What they really want from partners. And why nice guys and good girls get cheated on over and over and over again. This is the oldest story in the book. Listen to the freaking radio. It's on everywhere. That cheating heart. So I know this sounds wrong, but here's what happened. I knew I could choose to get revenge on my best friend. But there's more to it. The next day I woke up early. My heart was pounding, recovering from a freaking nightmare. I cracked open my laptop and I got to work researching my options. But quickly, I got frustrated and then angry. All over the internet, I found books and articles and videos from so-called experts, none of whom were in healthy, drama-free open relationships themselves, but they were claiming they had the answer for me. Or from conservative organizations talking about the evils of sex out of wedlock and how desiring another person sexually would lead you to hell, and that was a good thing to keep you safe and to keep you from engaging in awful extramarital relationships. But I didn't want to learn from wannabes. I wanted to learn how to have adult conversations about sex. To meet people who were already questioning the whole white picket fence mythology, who wanted to live life now as real people with real desires. Only when that happened would I feel like I'd gotten my revenge. Would I feel like I was a sexual human in a world where alive, awake, turned on humans seemed to be in short supply. The next few months were a rush of mind-bending revelations as everything I believed about sex and relationships was smashed wide open with a wrecking ball of reality. I realized that if I wanted to discover the truth about lusty, lasting relationships, it would mean taking a long look at some of my oldest beliefs. The first idea I had to murder was a big one. The idea that humans are monogamous species and that sex had to be something holy and sacred only. I saw one simple statistic that blew that one out of the water. In 1963, the world population was, well, over 3 billion. Today, it's over 7 billion and it's headed for 10 billion by 2050. So if humans don't naturally like sex, how the heck did the population of the world double in just 50 years? You tell me. You don't double the population by only having wholly monogamous sex with one person. Furthermore, why is the women's sex toy industry a $15 billion a year business and one of the fastest growing adult markets? And why is the porn industry a $97 billion a year business? The answer is easy. It's because humans don't like sex. They freaking love it. They need it. They crave it. And that craving is the most normal thing ever. Hear me on this. It is the most normal thing ever. The truth is, most people walk around every day horny as you know what, fantasizing about sex with other people other than their partners, waiting with bated breath for a guy or a girl to come along and fulfill every sexual fantasy. Fantasizing, and often acting out their deep, most instinctual desires. So if that's true, why aren't you having the kinds of relationships you truly desire? Because no matter how much we want to have sex with more than one person, we remain ashamed to admit that to ourselves. We feel guilty and ashamed, like we are being bad partners, or even worse, bad humans. And that we can never, ever, ever admit that to our partners. Why? 3 reasons. Reason 1, the stuff we've been taught about sex having to be only special, sacred, and only done one way. As a result, we end up terrified of our most natural sexual desires that are outside of the norm of, one person. And honestly, most people will probably die before ever fulfilling any of their deepest desires, feeling like they are broken, that something is terrible and wrong with them for wanting to have sex with other people other than their partners, for having private fantasies about coworkers and random strangers. And number 2, the biggest relationship nightmare is to be cheated on. Yeah, people are petrified of being lied to or being taken for chumps. And the script is so predictable, you're cheated on and you break up. You're cheated on and you divorce. You're cheated on and you mess up a perfectly good relationship because you were cheated on. And then there's the most important one. When it comes to sex and lust and pure physical pleasure, people are seeking and having alternative, clandestine relationships all over the world all the time, every day. And that's why the Ashley Madison website leak was so devastating to so many people. Because tons of people searched for their partner's name on the website leak, and they found it. Yeah, and you would think that that would make people never, ever, ever want to be on a site like Ashley Madison again. Well, you would be incorrect. More people than ever are joining the site because now they know about the site, and now they know there's a place where they can meet like-minded people who want alternative relationships. You see, people want to talk to others and share their secret pain of wanting to love, connect, and have sex with more than one. You see, everybody, all of us, we lack a common language to talk about our desires openly. Listen, I didn't discover this open relationship roadmap by accident. It was the unintended consequence, the holy grail, the emergent property of the end of a mission that took me 2 years to complete as I learned, tested, and tried again and again and again. It's a roadmap that works for just about anyone interested in healthy, open relationships. I interviewed evolutionary psychology professors, best-selling authors. I interviewed sex industry workers. I interviewed porn stars, male and female strippers, and listened all about the men and women in monogamous relationships who came to them looking for something more. I also looked at actual porn viewing habits of men and women and their secret search engine requests. I was shocked at how normal it was for women and men to want to have more than one partner and actively seek those other connections out. And then, with all of that buzzing around in my brain, I sat down at my laptop and boiled everything I'd learned and discovered into 10 powerful principles, techniques, and conversations which unleash the conversation towards reality and awakens the natural hunger for more. Exhausted from my research, I looked at what I'd created. I realized it was a manifesto for drama-free, open relationships. Relationships that stimulate mind and body. I told my best friend about it at lunch that day. Yeah, the same guy. He looked at me like a piranha looks at toes. Give me a download of what you learned right now. I laughed until I saw how crazed he was. It was in that moment that I felt like I had my revenge. I had something, again, that he desperately wanted. He's my best friend, and if I didn't apply what I had learned, then honestly, I hadn't learned anything. So how could I say no? The next day, I got a text from him with the picture of a woman he met who also wanted to meet me. The selfie was a woman who had a smile sprawling her entire face, like she'd won the relationship lotto. In the next selfie, she was blowing me a kiss. The text was in all caps with a huge smiley emoticon saying, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." Even in high school, he never could keep a secret, my best buddy. Or maybe people could sense something about him was different, the confidence that comes from asking for what you want. So he shared my ideas with his friends. And again, people raved about how incredible and simple it was to meet like-minded people everywhere, and how a whole new relationship universe just opened up once people learned these few simple techniques and ideas. And these ideas give others permission to treat you as an adult. No shame, no holding back, and no regrets. My best friend called my efforts the Open Relationship Blueprint. And it stuck because that's what this is. It's kind of the secret principles of how to open your mind and your relationships. Which brings us to now. And brings us to you learning the Open Relationship Blueprint too. But before we go any further, you need to understand, this isn't just a power, it's a way of life. Once you learn to release your jealousy and your shame, you too can have relationships this secret way, in plain sight. You'll be able to share more intense, pleasurable, connected, and erotic experiences on a regular basis with people who want to play the way you want to play. And I know this sounds surreal, but this isn't magic, it's reality. And evolutionary psychology. And a full upgrade of your beliefs about sex and relationships and what's possible. And an upgrade about how you look at life. It's evolution because the ideas you're about to learn have been psychologically designed to tap directly into our imagination of what's possible. Listen, suppose I tell somebody that they can have all the depth, relationships, and great sex they desire. If you took a brain scan, you know what you would see? An explosion of dopamine flooding the brain and the body. And if you don't know what dopamine is, it's the pleasure chemical. It releases when we experience new things and when we anticipate rewards, aka new partners. It's the same chemical that releases when you play slot machines in Vegas. Big gamblers didn't build Vegas, nope. Ordinary people in crappy relationships, desperate to break the boredom and monotony by getting a shot of dopamine every time they pull a freaking lever. Ordinary folks, mom and pop, seeking a shot in the arm of energy, dopamine. That hit of dopamine is what motivates every human on this planet. And without even knowing it, I discovered that's exactly what happens when you open your relationships up. You get a shot of dopamine. And when you allow dopamine and other reward chemicals to flood your system, those chemicals keep us feeling young, confident, and capable. Dopamine is our internal fountain of youth. So, are you ready to feel what it's like to have more fun than pulling a handle? Are you ready for beautiful, open, trust-filled relationships that are based in the reality of what humans are? Are you ready to have a mindset of total quality and abundance when it comes to relationships? Are you ready to feel freedom instead of tightness and chained up genitals? And instead of guilt and sexual shame, simply because you were wanting to say yes to life? If you're still here, I think we both know the answer is a pretty obvious yes. The Open Relationship Blueprint is the result of over 15 years of non-stop, intensive research, in-person testing, and work. Hard work I did so you don't have to. You see, the Open Relationship Blueprint isn't a course or an education program where you need to do a lot of work and where I tell you that you need to change this and that about who you are. No. Instead, it's a collection of almost magical, done-for-you belief systems and ideas which automatically reprogram your mind. New ways of thinking, new ways of believing, new ways of relating. That's because you don't know what you don't know until you know it. So when it comes to relationships, here's just a tiny sample of the secrets you're going to learn and the amazing results you're going to almost automatically get when you discover the Open Relationship Blueprint today. There's the infinite technique. Use this to condition yourself and your partners to become unreasonably turned on by open, honest discussions about desire. Warning, using this in a public space has been known to make people think you have some kind of special superpower. Next, you'll learn the don't be an ass modifier technique and how to tickle the emotional centers so people want to be in your personal relationship circle. You'll feel like you just won the relationship lottery too when you learn this next one. I call it overcoming jealousy. Yeah, that's the biggest problem people have when it comes to open relationships. Jealousy. This method is so easy to do, but it's also so powerful. It allows you to create a feedback loop of pleasure to replace the disempowering feelings of jealousy. Next, you'll discover the secret power of difficult conversations formula to know exactly what to say and how to say it so you too can begin creating the kinds of lifestyle changes you want in your relationships. The next piece is advanced and mind-blowing. I call this the Safer Sex Elevator Speech to creating the lifestyle you desire. Simply use this method and instantly handle all the buried anger and fears people have towards open relationships. The Open Relationship Exposure Method allows you to communicate your deepest, most hidden fantasies. Important, use this method and you'll know things about each other that you both might be scared to admit, which is why I'm also going to teach you how to release your hidden guilt and shame. And that's just the tip of the relationship iceberg. You'll also discover how to tear down the genital control barrier and see how easy it really is to be open and honest and free with your partners. The Bawdy boundary and how to ask for what you want confidently. Plus, you'll get the honest truth about lying. Know this and you'll never get cheated on again. And that's not even half of what I'm giving you with this incredibly powerful blueprint. I don't even have time to tell you about the ownership ripoff method of turning a bad habit into a pleasure party, how to activate the uber powerful sexual reward system and have almost anybody begging you to teach it to them too, or the friends into playmates method. Warning, only use this if you're sick of being friends without benefits. Once you do this, there's no going back, and there's so much more. Okay, can you feel that? Your heart pounding in your chest, the dryness in your mouth, that incredible need you feel to know this, to be able to do this, to have this incredible power, to have the kind of relationships you want. How much is it worth to have all this at your fingertips? How much is it worth to crack the code? How much is it worth to upgrade your imagination? How much is it worth to know that you can fix any problem that happens with your partners just by whispering a few magic words? I don't want to bring you down here, but I see so many unhappy people who are pissed off and miserable every day because they don't understand how to have even one relationship, much less more than one. People getting browbeaten and nagged to death in sexless relationships, genitals encased in cement, wasting hundreds or thousands of dollars trying to fix a relationship, and quite frankly, they're failing miserably. And even worse are the people who complain that they can't find any good men or any good women out there. So think about that for a second, keeping that solid in your head. What do you think would be a fair price for the Open Relationship Blueprint? What do you think would be a fair price to be in control of your sexual and relationship life? To have all the power to choose? to be able to live life to the fullest. If you're being completely honest, I bet you say that $200 or more would be totally fair to change your relationship life forever. Heck, I bet you'd think that that was cheap to never have to feel that fear and anxiety just because you are asking for what you want. But you know what? I'm not a rich guy, and like you, I have to sing for my supper. And I know that even when you want something so much, and know that it is a total steal, which it is, at the price you're paying, sometimes doubt and hesitation make it so that you just can't give yourself exactly what you need. Which is why I'm going to do something risky here. Not a risk to you, but a big risk to me. You see, my mission in life is to give regular men and women the upgraded tools they need to experience incredible sexual energy and power. And if I have to take a hit to my wallet to make the world a little bit sweeter, well, that's just the way it is. So, because you've given me some of your precious time, and I honor that, you're not going to pay $297 for this program. I'm not going to ask you to invest $197. For you, I'm setting the price of the Open Relationship Blueprint at just one single payment of $97. And if you take action right now, right this minute, click the button, I'm going to give you 50% off that already discounted price. Simply click the button below right now and you'll get the complete program for the discounted price of just $47. That's an immediate action discount. But you have to act right now. I really want to encourage action. I know what it's like to hem and haw and want to think about it, but instead, I'm going to reward you for taking action right now. And just to take away every excuse you might have not to give this to yourself and to the dozens of potential relationships in your life that you're going to share these ideas with, I'm going to back everything I've set up with a truly astonishing guarantee. Here's how it works. Just enroll in the Open Relationship Blueprint program right now. Use the material. It's so easy to use and it's done for you. See for yourself how easy it is to create the lifestyle you want using these proven principles and techniques. If you don't think this program is at least worth double what you're paying today, just contact my customer service at support@tantrax.com anytime in the next 60 days. And you'll get every dime back as fast as we can. Why am I being so generous? Because I am a sexual human just like you, who's fed up with my life being dictated by political people who do the same things in their own lives as everybody else, but they just lie about it and they shame and blame other people about it and they pretend like they're not doing the same things. But of course, we know they are. And I want you to experience this incredible power and energy and joy that flows from having healthy, open relationships. And if I have to put myself out there a little bit to help you, I will gladly do just that. Honestly, it's worth it. And you know what? All you have to do is click the button below. With your special discount, you'll get the complete Open Relationship Blueprint program for just $47. We already agreed that the Open Relationship Blueprint is worth at least $200 by itself. So that's a great deal already. But then you're also getting the keys to the open mindset, which sells for $97 by itself. But by using your special action discount, you'll get everything for just $47. All you have to do to take advantage of this amazing deal is click the big yellow button below this video right now. Then fill in your payment details using a credit card, debit card, or PayPal on the next page. Once you do that, you'll get your special login credentials, so you can access the Open Relationship Blueprint on your phone, on your tablet, on your computer, on your freaking iPad 4, 6, iPad 10, whatever, at any time you want, anytime you need it. And probably one day soon enough on your watch. So click the button right now. Pay your discounted enrollment fee. Use the beliefs, methods, and techniques and scripts that I give you in this program, and experience for yourself what it's like to have the kinds of relationships you want without hurting anybody. Experience how much fun you can have with other people who are like you, fulfilling your fantasies and desires, and you fulfilling their fantasies and desires. Even if you are in a monogamous relationship, I guarantee you will learn something to immediately get your relationship or your marriage back on track. I want you to feel the level of adventure most humans will never get to experience. You're going to be amazed at how your life changes once you learn this. How people just look at you differently, and they will. And ask you, hey, what's different about you? Okay, it's time to take action. You're at a crossroads right now, and you really just have two very different options, leading to two very different lives. Option 1 is to leave this page without enrolling in the program, and that falls into the whatever category. I think you already know what will happen if you do this. That feeling of failure and inadequacy in your heart. That sense that you made a huge mistake, that you didn't take the opportunity you wanted so much. That growing frustration and agony as amazing relationships just seem to get further and further away. They just slip away and you go on with your life and whatever. And days and weeks and years go by. So I know you don't want that. That path sucks because we human beings, we sexual human beings, we are wired to connect. Which is why you should seriously consider taking road number 2. Just say yes. Right now. Click the button. Enter your payment information right now. Before BS, and that's belief systems, get in the way. And I want you to enroll in the Open Relationship Blueprint now. Get everything I've talked about in this video. And with my 60-day money-back guarantee, you're risking nothing. And with that Take Action Now discount, you're getting an immediate 50% discount. Let me leave you with one final lesson. Do you know what humans love more than anything? Decisiveness. Yes, decisiveness. The ability to see something you want and to take action, to go after it. I teach this in my coaching. I teach this with my students. Going after it decisively. This is power. If you aren't getting your emotional, physical, and relationship needs so much more than met, just make a tiny, easy decision right now. I've unlocked the door. All you have to do is walk through it. I hope you understand that I've stacked the deck so much in your favor you literally can't lose. Actually, there is one way you can lose. By walking away from this wonderful opportunity. But if you've suffered and wanted and craved open relationships and honest relationships long enough, just click the button below. I personally promise you will be happy you did. Again, I'm Lawrence Lanoff, and I can't wait to hear about your incredible success with the Open Relationship Blueprint.